Hey, and welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and today we have a special treat, and it's the 2014 Hyundai Equus. Now, if you're familiar with the Hyundai lineup, basically you know they've always had some nice entry-level sedans and SUVs that basically appeal to the masses. Now with the Equus, they of course entered the luxury sedan market. Now with that, they've obviously gone up with some stiff competition like the BMW, the Audi, and Lexus. Now what's great with the exterior and some new enhancements for 2014, they really have taken the Equus to the next level. Now the Equus debuted back in 2011, and just in the short time here they've actually hit it up for a redesign in 2014. Now the redesign isn't drastic and it pretty much kept most of the styling cues, but the biggest difference is right up front, and the most notable is going to be the thinner straight grille across with the black behind it for a little bit more contrast. Now there were some more chrome accents last year. They've actually dropped those more for a body color fascia, a little bit more regal look. Now if you look at the headlight design, again they've kind of encapsulated it with a little bit of black behind it, a little more contrast, and down low you're going to get LED fog light standard. Now another little thing they've actually enhanced is this lower strake down here, of course, black again for contrast, and overall this front end is supposed to have a little bit more sporty luxury feel. Now when you look at the profile of the Equus, we're definitely not looking outside the box here, considering that it does have some BMW styling cues, maybe even some from Lexus. So they didn't reinvent the luxury wheel here, but it definitely holds its own in the luxury sedan market. Now looking at the length, you've got about 120-inch wheelbase with about 203 inches overall. Width is just over 6 feet, and it's just under 5 feet tall. Now those numbers are actually fairly lengthy, considering the Infiniti QX56 actually measured in just roughly about the same length. But obviously this is sedan offering, and a lot of that length is going to really translate on the inside. Now looking at the side, of course, this is fairly straightforward luxury. There is kind of a ridgeline that goes down, but again the chrome accents have really been subdued. The actual chrome that you see here is kind of a brushed, not really polished, so you're not going to get that bling, and I like that. Now another new thing you're going to notice for 2014 is the new spoke wheels, and they're 19 inches. Now another redesign for 2014 are the side mirrors. They've actually redesigned and made them a little bit more aerodynamic. Now what's great about these mirrors is they relate to the intelligent key system, and what I'm referring to is when you lock the vehicle, these will actually fold and tuck out of the way, and that's of course great for preventing damage in parking lot and tight spaces. Now even better, when you walk up to the vehicle, again it actually knows you're getting close, actually will fold out, and at night of course it's illuminating your path so you can make a clear entrance. Now better yet, the driver's door of course unlocks as you're getting closer. Now swinging around to the back, you'll notice that the taillight assembly wraps around the side, giving good illumination to the vehicle. It's nice styling cue of course too. Now better yet, the key of course relates to the trunk. It is a one-touch button. You pop and it rises up. Now the trunk space is going to be a little over 16 cubic feet, and that's about average, especially considering as big as this vehicle is. Maybe you expect more, but again, a lot of that space is really translated into legroom, and we'll get into that in just a second. But obviously there's a lot of open space, easy to get your luggage in and out, and of course it is to be expected like a cavern. Now under the hood, the Equus comes equipped with a 5.0 liter V8 32 valve engine. Now it's going to deliver about 429 horses and 376 foot-pounds of torque. Now that's better numbers than the Lexus 460 and comparable numbers to the Mercedes S550, just missing the torque on that vehicle, which has about 516. Now this is a rear-wheel drive driven vehicle, and it comes equipped with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And what I found that even with its length, and of course this is a full-size luxury sedan, you are able to get off the line and of course get that squeal that you're looking for behind the wheel. Now when you climb into the captain's chair, one of the first things you're going to notice is the abundance of buttons and the feel of actually piloting a Boeing 747. Now what's interesting, in comparison to other vehicles that actually have decluttered and gone really to a central touch screen, it's kind of the opposite feel. There's actually a lot of buttons, and there's a slight learning curve to really kind of get the feel of where everything's going to be. But truly, once you do, there probably is a real reason for that. Now, one of the biggest things I noticed that with this kind of huge screen, it truly is not a touch screen. It actually relates to the central knob that really dials in or clicks into the mode you're looking for. Now, of course, you could argue that really that is a safety feature that is perfect, because as you're driving, if you go to touch the screen, your eyes are naturally going to progress to that. Instead, as I noticed when I use the central knob and control this, I really kind of keep my eyes on the road, simply glance over back and forth until I get what I'm looking for. So it's really a kind of a user preference on what you're going to prefer. Now, one of the best features about the Equus is its ability to deliver comfort throughout the interior, and one of the best places is in the back seat. Again, where you're going to have plentiful leg room, but you're able to truly dial in your comfort. And one of the nicest features, of course, is the ability to recline and move these back seats independently, just like you would in the front. Now, right here front and center is the central command unit back in the back seat. And what that does is mimic a lot of the controls you have up front. Of course, controlling volume, the media you listen to, and even, of course, your heated seats. Now, this vehicle is a tri-zone system, meaning the back seat passengers, of course, will handle their temperature and comfort independently. Now, one of the nicest features is the ability to actually move seats forward. Obviously, if you're being driven, there's no one sitting here, so you're going to maybe want to move that seat up just a little bit. Now, you, of course, can also control the back privacy screen, keeping the sun out, and again, on the Ultimate model, you'll have privacy screens on the side as well. But again, when you're being driven, you want the luxury right there at your fingertips. And one of the best features is the relax button. You simply press it, the front passenger seat will actually go forward and fold, and this seat will actually recline, give you that nice comfort you're looking for. Now, of course, it's great to be driven in this vehicle, but it's even better to be the driver. And when you're behind the wheel, one of the best features is the air ride system. Now, what that does is, of course, smooths out all the bumps, turns this, of course, into a luxury-like sedan, and you feel that. You basically, there's not a bump that you can find that is going to cause harshness behind the wheel. There's also a ride height system associated with that, and more or less when your driving speed is going to be at normal height. But when you're at slower speeds and you need to raise the vehicle for whatever reason, there are several heights that actually will almost give you a nosebleed as it's rising up. Now, another nice feature is the turning radius on this vehicle. Now, it's under 40 feet, and considering this is basically somewhat a full-size SUV length, it's not too bad to actually be able to turn this on a dime and sneak into those nooks and crannies in the parking lot, because after all, this is a sedan and you don't want to feel like it's a huge boat. Now, one last thing to note is that rear-wheel drive that we mentioned earlier, and there's just a hint of me that really wants it to be an all-wheel drive, because I have driven a 7 Series BMW back on kind of a slick road icing situation, and the vehicle kind of performed horribly. Now, I hope that's not the case here, and really want to avoid ice, of course, at all costs. But it wouldn't hurt, obviously, if Hyundai could somewhat go into that all-wheel drive system, allowing there to be grip at all four corners. Now, that does it for this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and we tried out the 2014 Hyundai Equus. Now, there's just been a few enhancements for 2014. They've, of course, improved from whence they came, and we love the luxurious appointments and the amenities that come on such a grand vehicle. Now, again, I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.